Alright, this part we're going to make is the 198-6-16 step cone pulley. Now, some interesting things to look at here in the beginning is that this has a crown, right? A crown means there's a peak here. So it goes up in the middle 1 millimeter. It goes up that way, 1 millimeter. All right. The rest of these diameters are in there, and then for us to look at, want you to notice that the diameter here on this end right here and this end right here is 35, but there's a diameter right here of 44, so this slopes upward right there. So there's some things we're going to have to kind of work out. We're going to create a line right through the middle to revolve around. So this part here that has the hashing on it is what we're going to draw. It's not the easiest thing, but you'll do a good job, I'm positive of. And we'll try to make this work out. And we'll get to the keyway part later. Okay. All right. So let's move ahead here. So I'm going to reconnect this. I want to get started here. The first thing I want to do is I'm going to go to up here to my workspace units, and I'm going to change this to metric or millimeter, and I'm going to go to 0. And I'm not going to worry about anything else right now. We're going to leave it at that. So to make things relatively simple, I want my front view to be probably looking directly at or at the side of one of these things here. So I'm going to click New Sketch here. And then I'll hit N or click View Normal to that workspace. Alright, let's see what happens here. Apparently our internet's been running kind of slow, so we'll try this. This might be the first thing I'm doing drawing today. So let's see what happens. Well, that's interesting. Alright. View normal to. Okay, there we go. Alright, so the first thing I'm going to do is in this sketch. Oh, I thought I was sketching already. Create a new sketch on this plane. Okay, so now I'm on this plane, sketch number 1. I'm going to start by just drawing a line. And I want a line that goes right through my origin point right here. So I'm going to go here over to here. That's fine. And I'm going to click on this and change it to a construction line. Alright, so that's a construction line there, and we should be good. Alright. Now, I don't know if it's the midpoint of it or anything like that. I'm not too concerned with that this portion of it. But then what I'm going to do is I'm going to look at this shape right here, and I'm going to remember that this is slanted, that there's a crown on each one of these things. I'm actually going to try not to line stuff up if I can help it, because I don't know if this is 0.9 here also, or if it's not 0.9. If it's 9 millimeters here, but it's 8 here, so this might be 8. So I'm going to try not to line stuff up when I get in here. Automatic. I don't want it to line up automatically, but I might pick a point and just say I'm going to start like somewhere right about here, and I'm going to go up a little bit, put that angle on there, come up here, do that, and I think this comes out, doesn't go out as far, so I think this goes right here, and do that. I'm going to put this little angle here and here, and then I'll go up a little bit, and I'm going to do this little peak on this here and here. Those two being aligned is fine. I'll go up a little bit more and put a peak on this from here to here. Now it's only going to be 1 millimeter, the rise part of it, but we'll worry about that later. Come down here, do this one. I'm going to come across right here and come down to here. Now this one, these two could be aligned, and these two right here could be aligned, and then come down to this and then go straight across here. Now this isn't perfect. I do want to make it the way I want it to. I want it to be perfect, and this line is the only one that's black so far right there, and so I want to make sure the other things are. We're going to make them black all the way around. So I'm going to do a perpendicular constraint and say that I want this and this to be perpendicular to one another. See, a couple things snapped. This and this to be perpendicular. Those I don't want to be perpendicular. These two probably should be. These two should be perpendicular, and these two should be perpendicular. And probably also this one and this one. I don't know if it changed those, and this one and this one. I don't know if it changed those, but we constrained them that way anyway. Alright, now the other couple things I want to do here is I want to look at this and I want to say I want this one and this one to be equal. I want this one and this one to be equal. I want this one and this one to be equal. And do I want those? I don't want those to be equal. I want to horizontally constrain this one and this one. And I want to horizontally constrain this one and this one. horizontally constrain this one and this one, and I'm going to horizontally constrain these two, and I'll horizontally constrain those two, which I think I drew that way already, so that's okay. All right, so now this is where we're going to start doing things, and this is where this part of it becomes important. We're going to start dimensioning things. We might add some more constraints later, but I'm going to put dimensions on and say I want to go from here to here, and I'm going to drag it down here to the bottom. Right, and I'm going to change that to 35, and it's going to be a 35 millimeters. All right, and now I like to go around the other way here. I actually did this wrong. 35 is not where that one goes. 35 is where this one goes, right here, from here to here. And if I try to put it up top, it's not going to work. I got to go below right here and put that in there and say that's 35. All right, now what I wanted to do is this one that goes, the hole that goes through the center from here to here. This one is 22.22, 22.22. All right, then the next one, I come around here, this point specifically, from here, from this point down to there, I come down here and put that in there. That one was 44, right here, 44. So I got that part of it, worked that one out. Now, there's an interesting one that this goes from here to here is 133, but I'm going to come back to that. All right, so what I do want to do is I want to say that the distance from this side, this line right here to this line right there, this is 33. All right, the distance from this line to this line is also 33. And the distance from this line to this line, that one is 35. Excuse me, I'm sorry. All right, so that makes those things right. So now when we do this dimension here, I'm going to say from, I want to put this dimension on to this diameter. Let's see, I'm going to look at this real quick. I'm going to do a dimension. I want to know what the radius is of these. So this radius right here, the inside here is 96, and this point right here is 110. All right, so I'm going to put a dimension on that goes from here to here and drop this down here like this, and that's 96. All right, so I'm going to make some changes here before I do anything else. I'm going to exit that. I'm going to raise this one up, and I'm going to raise this one up. I'm going to move that one up here. I'll move this one up here. Right, I'm going to move this one up a little bit too, because that 96 and this one was supposed to be 110, so from here down to here is supposed to be 110. Now, that isn't something that I wanted to have happen. I don't want those to be in line like this. So now I can learn from that right away. I'm going to undo this right here. I'm going to undo that, and I'm going to leave it at 19 because I still want it there. I'm just going to change it. So it's 119. Yours can be whatever, but you're going to dimension this and bring this one here. We want to get this so this comes straight out there. Right click, and how do I do this one? Escape the dimension. Let me go in here. Hit escape. I'm going to zoom in close because I'm going to put a dimension in that goes from here, and I want to go straight out. Now it's trying to align that, so this is what we'll do. We'll click on this endpoint and this endpoint right here, and we'll come straight out over here. We're just going to say 1. That's 1 millimeter. So now I can change this to 110, and those align the way they should. So I'm going to do the same on this one. I'm going to do a dimension that goes from this point to this point, and say that's only supposed to be 1 millimeter. And the dimension that goes from this point to this point, I'll put that right there, and that's only 1 millimeter. All right, that adds the crown the way I want it. Now I can look at these other things here. I'm going to look at this peak. That peak right there goes to 135. So I'll put a dimension on this one that goes from a dimension from here to here, and this goes there, and that one's 135. Right. This is supposed to be lower than the other there, so I'm going to move this one down to not create confusion. I'm going to move these down a little bit, because when I do this one dimension, this one from here to here, that is supposed to be 160. So I could look at it, and I'll show you in just a second if you want to see it. Right there, that 160 goes to the peak right there. All right. So now I've got those dimensions figured out. Now this one and this one I can add right now if I want, because this one right here is 148. The one under here, this extension line goes out here and it's 122. So I can put a dimension on that goes from here down to this one, down to here. That one is 122, and this one was 148. 148. All right, so I got that one. Look at how I made those black already, so that part's worked out. So these are all the ones with the diameters, and I think all of those are set. I might want to do, I think if I did a horizontal constraint here, I can't remember if I did this one and this one, right? But now I did. Okay, so those are constrained. Now let's think about all these horizontal distances here. The dimensions on here, let's look at these right here. So I got a 64, I got a 9, and a 32. All right, so I'm going to do from here to here. And, oops, I thought I got that one. From there to there. This one is 64. All right, this dimension between these two right here, that one was 9. And the dimension that goes from this line to this line was 32. All right, notice how it's all of these are starting to turn black. It means they're fully constrained. All right, the next thing we wanted to know was, let's see, we got a distance from here to here. Oh, let's see, let's do a horizontal one right here. This one was 8, right? This dimension from here to here, that one was only 8. And that's where this gets bizarre. All right, so let's add one. We're going to add that 133 right now. So we're going to go from here. We'll put a dimension on that goes. Let me show you. That 133 is the back side to the front side right here. So it goes up here, over there, down to the other side. 133. So we're going to add that dimension from here to here, and we'll put that in and say 133. Now the interesting part about that is look how everything else now is fully constrained. Now I know that looks terrible. There's numbers all over the place, and if you need to clean it up, it's absolutely fine. It's not super important, but you could do it if you wanted to. Clean these things up, make it look nice, because it helps you do things. I can, easily figure out why you would want to do that sort of thing to clean it up. You do not have to. It is not a requirement to clean that up in this manner, right? You don't have to do it. If you want to, you can, just for your own sanity of where everything goes, make it look nice. You can. I do not often do this kind of thing, but if you wanted to do it, you can do it. Not that big of a deal. So that's 8, that's 9, all this stuff works out. The dimensions, so notice these two didn't line up, so I'm glad I skipped that in the beginning. So now we're finished this, right? We finished this portion of this, and we're ready to click on revolve, and I'm going to switch this here so I can see what's going on. I'm going to click on the corner here, and I'm going to click revolve, and click on faces or sketch, and I'll click this, and it's going to ask me to revolve around the axis, and that'll be that construction line right there. So I'll click that and click this, and so there's what the step cone pulley looks like. There's a few other things we want to change to it, right? Let's look here real quick. It tells us there's chamfers right there. There's 2 chamfers. There's a chamfer right here, and there's a chamfer right there's one there, and then there's one right there. It doesn't tell us that there's one on the other side, so we shouldn't need to do that. It looks like there is. Oh, it says chamfer both ends, so that is right. So we'll put one here and one there, and we'll put one right here when we do that. So it's a chamfer that's a 2x45, so it's a 2 millimeter chamfer. So when we go here, we're going to click chamfer. We're going to change this to 2 millimeters, and it's a 45 millimeter one. So we'll click that surface and this surface, and we can also spin this thing around to the other side. We'll click this surface, and I think it's on this surface too, both ends. So we can just do that. It'll look neat. Saves some of the issue there with banging things around, and so that works out okay. The last thing we have to worry about on this is this thing called a keyway. the keyway is 2.38 by 4.76. Now there may be a better way to do this, but I'm just going to do it this way. So I'm going to zoom in close here. We're going to right click on this surface. Right click with your mouse and click New Sketch. All right. And then what we'll do is we're going to view normal to that sketch right here. Or hit N right there. Just hit N on your keyboard. All right. So once we're in here, I'm going to go in on that sketch and I'm going to make a, let's see if we can do it this way. Center point to a rectangle, and I think I can put it right. Nope. I want to do, no, we're not going to do that one. We're not going to do it. We're going to do a corner to corner. Right, and we're just going to draw a rectangle right here. Now this rectangle was 4.6 or 4.76. Now, oops, we can go in here and I can put a dimension on this and say that this is 4.76 that way, and enter. Right, and the other thing I can do is going to round it up to 5, but it is that way, and I can just say that these two are equal to one another. Right. Alright, so what I would do next is I'm going to do this where I do a dimension that goes from the center right here to this line, and this is 4.76 divided by 2. Right, got that. Right, there we go. Alright, and then this midpoint right here, I think I can do this where I can do a coincident constraint between this midpoint and the, oh no, maybe not. Alright, so then we'll do this other thing is we'll do a dimension that goes from here to here, right, and that will also then be 4.76 divided by 2, right, so now that puts that right in the middle. Okay, that makes this easy because it says there's a keyway there, and the keyway is in the top right there, so there's a little this keyway, and it's a little piece of metal that you put in to help things when you've got this on an axle. You put it in both places and then do that. So you put this piece of metal in here on the axle and on the pulley here, and it makes it so that it'll spin and it won't just spin on the axle. So then I'm going to click extrude, and I'll extrude this piece here, and we can do the bottom if you wanted to. We'll click remove, and I'm going to change this so it goes through all. So it goes all the way through to the other side, and click check mark. And so that's it. So that's the model. All right, we're good with the model. All right, next we're going to right click on this, and then we're going to start putting dimensions on. All right, and this is one where you're going to want to put a section view in here. So we're going to be really careful on how we do this. Create a drawing, and I would probably pick the B size one, and you can pick this if you wanted to and see what the standard views are. I'm just going to place them in myself that way because I want to see what it's going to tell me when it comes in. Because what I did do is I clicked front view was the one here that I wanted to be this way, so I'm going to change this to left and put this view in here like this. Alright, so I'm going to put this in like this. Now this is where this gets kind of crazy. Alright, alright, that would be our normal right side view, but what I want to do here is I'm going to right click on this, and we're going to we're going to show our hidden lines, and we are going to hide the tangent lines to get rid of those things. Alright, now that does get kind of confusing because of the chamfers that were on there, the way things are laid out, but we'll be okay here in a second. Alright, what I'm going to do is go ahead and do my section view, and I'm going to do a vertical one, click AA and put that in here, and go ahead and drop the section view in there like that. So it's going to make that section view. Section views generally don't have hidden lines on them, generally. So we can hide those right there. Now, we could do something really, really cool if you wanted to do this. You could. This is fine. We can dimension this way. I'm going to back up a step and show you how to do this, just so you know. We're going to back up till those are gone, till the section view is gone. We can use this kind of section view, an aligned section view, or let's do this one. I can do a section view here, and nope, I don't want to do angular. I want to do that kind of aligned thing right here, and we'll click right in here and put that in this way. And this one I'll put so it goes vertical right here. This one will go right here like this. And I might be making a mistake. Well, maybe we don't want to do that. Let's just stick with what we know. We'll do this one, and I'm going to click this one, and we could do that where I could go section view like this. That's what I wanted to do it like that. So it'll create a quarter view right there in this case. In this case, you probably don't want to show your hidden lines, and you could do that right there. So it shows you where the crowns are on all that. And that actually looks really, really cool. If you felt like doing it, you could. And then I'll probably do a projected view of this one over here, right, to show you what the other side looks like. Okay. So if I'm going to go in here now, I'm going to start thinking about all the things that were on here and what I dimensioned. Let's strictly talk about doing the diameters first, all right? Because we want to make sure we get all those diameters right. Now those diameters were at peaks, so we're going to look at this part right here. Is that the one? It was this one that we wanted to put that in there. Oh, wait a minute. I got to make this correct. We're going to go over here and change this to millimeters. All right, we're going to change the units we're using to millimeters. And the precision we don't want to have is just 0 there too. All right, and everything else is fine. We'll just leave it the way it is, and then we'll come in, put a dimension on. And we can start with this one right here, and it's going to say it's 11, and that's a radius of 11. We'll come back to that, all right? And then we're going to put one on here, and this was 31 wasn't right. You know why that's not right? Because that was where the chamfer was. So we'll put a one on this one. This one's 35, and we're going to address the chamfer later on. So that's 35. This one was 44, and I'm just going to try to align these things so they look nice. When we get out here to this one had a chamfer on it also. So this one was, what one was that one? That was 100? I don't remember it being 100. I thought it was 110 or 96 or something like that. Maybe I did that wrong. So let me just look at this one. That one was 96. Was the interior of... Oh yes, this was the interior to this one. So the 100 was... Oh yeah, the 100 was the one where we did the chamfer on that. So we're going to take that one out. And then we'll start looking at these other things here. So the rest of these are where the crowns were. So we'll put these on. We'll do the outside of each one of those. So that's the 110. The outside here is the 135. We'll put that one there and put this one here. All right, and this one was the 160. All right. This one, these other ones on the inside here were done. So we wanted to do this one, which was, nope, that's not right, because we wanted the inside one because the way that worked out. So we'll do this one. We're going to pick the inside one, and I'm actually going to put it on this side here. We know what the outside is there. I think what we want to know is what this one was, and this was 122. All right, so we got those diameters there. All right. Okay. All right, so those are all the diameters we have. We did that. So what we want to do is double click this one. We're going to change this one here. We want to change from diameter to radius on that. So radius to diameter on that. So it puts the diameter in there. The numbers on here are a tolerance zone. So we can go in here and we're going to change the precision. I do believe we'll change this precision to, can we change the precision there? Dual dimension, radius. We want to change it to 2 decimal places there. So that's 2.22. And we can add a tolerance zone there. And I think we want to put limits on that. And so we're going to say the top limit was 0.5 right there, like that, just like that. Nope, it's not limits that we want to do. We don't want to do limits. It's because it's not limits. We want to do a deviation, and this one, so the number is going to be right there, and this one was 0.5, and that's how that should be. Oops, that's not right either. I honestly forget. It's actually a little different than that. You know what? I want to get into tolerancing later, and I got to go look at this a little bit more. So let's just leave it at that for right now. It's fine. All right. Um, so we got all the diameters. Let's talk about the distances here. All right. Now we want to remember that we don't want to put dimensions on the part itself. So we'll go in here, and we're gonna put dimension lines. We're gonna select things in here. So we're gonna say that the distance, say, from this surface right here to this surface right here is definitely 64, right? But what I would do is I would probably drag this down here and put this down at this point down here, right? So I'm going to put this here, 64 there, and I'm going to drag this down a little bit more. Now, would that fit in there? We can do it this way. So I'd get the dimensions lined up correctly. I'm going to do another one here that says the dimension that goes from, say, here to here is definitely going to be 9. Can we put that in there? I'll drop this down a little bit more to right here. And then the dimension on the other side is definitely going to be smaller. From here to here is only 32. So we're going to bring that down here. And I don't want to line that up this way. I'm going to move this again. So I'm going to move this down so I can get the alignment really nice here. All right, so those are the inside numbers there. We'll start looking at the outside numbers here. We knew that that was 35 right there. This one was 44, and we want to start putting these things on here. So I'm going to put a dimension on here, and that goes from here to there. And this one is, it tried to do it right there, right in here. It went out this way, right there. There we go, 1 millimeter. Now that was kind of hard to figure out. So I'm going to do that. I'm going to put that right there like this. And I'm going to double click this and change this to say, crown. Oops, I want all caps on. All caps. Crown. 1 millimeter and put 3 places. All right, we'll do that way. So that's how we will cover that right there. So that covers this thing, so we know that's the same all the way across. Then we'll do dimensions that say from here to here. That one's 33. A dimension that goes from here to here. This one is 33, and a dimension that goes from here over to here. This one is 35. Now, one of the other ones that was important was the dimension that goes from here to here. That one was 8. So we'll paste that one in there. And the last one that I do think we need to put on here that's a major thing was the dimension that went from here all the way over here to this side right there, which, let's see, we're going to make things look nice, is that one. That's 133, so we'll put this one right up here. All right, so those things are acceptable in this manner. The very last thing that we want to do is, there's 2 things we want to do. We're going to address the chamfer right here. So let's see if we can do that this way. We're going to go here and just click on the option of chamfer dimension, and I'm going to click this and put that right there. Chamfer. I thought it was there. Alright, so maybe that's not a good one. So we can, what happens if we click this? Click chamfer and go right here on this. That won't do it, will it? Alright, so we'll click chamfer dimension, and I'm going to click this line, and maybe I'm supposed to click that line. There we go. It tells me what the angle is. 2.51, so it's not supposed to be that many decimal places. It's not supposed to be any decimal places. So we'll double click this, bring this back in over here. We're going to change this down to 0, and we'll change this one, the precision on this one, down to not on that. So we'll change that to there. All right, and we'll put the word here, and we'll put the word right here, and we're just going to say chamfer. All right, we'll put that in there and hit escape because we're getting out of that. So that's our chamfer. Oh, I know what we're going to do. We're going to put this here. We're also going to add this and say both ends. And that's absolutely fine, just like this. If we wanted to, you could get crazy and be like this, put chamfer here, and then get rid of this part here. If you wanted to do that, you can. I'm okay. It looks good this way, so if you wanted to do that. Now, let's talk about this keyway, right? I'm going to teach you something that the rest of the people either aren't going to know or might just show differently. All right. Okay. We could get really nuts and be like, all right, let's do a projected view here and put this thing up here like this, so you got a projected view of what that looks like, this part here. Now, but this keyway is a problem. And so what we're going to do is we're going to click this thing here, it says detail view. Click detail view, and we're going to make a detail view right about here like this, right? And it creates a detail of this, and we're going to put that right up there. So the scale of the detail view is going to be 2 to 3. It's a little bit bigger than whatever, but you see here it puts this B in here. We're going to move that B to right there. And however big this is however big that'll be right here. But this is fine for what we're going to do, because all we want to do is put a couple dimensions on here. We're going to go in and put dimension right here. Just tell us how wide this is right here. You can do this way, 5 millimeters. So I'm going to change my mind here. I'm going to do this where I want to add a note right here. Oh, can I do that? Call out radial dimension linear. So let's do this. We'll go from no. I'll just put a dimension on. I'm going to say this from here. No. This is what it should be. Add a call out here. That's not how that's supposed to go. I don't like it because it's red and it's not supposed to be that way. Now, hold on a second. So to make things easy, I think what we'll do is we will just we're just going to use the dimensions here. We'll put a dimension on that says that this goes from here to here, and that's 5 millimeters. And we're going to change it here in a second. And this one right here will go this way, and it says it's 3 millimeters. So what we'll do is we're going to double click this one to change the precision of this, because it should be probably 2 decimal places that way. And we'll put on here, we'll type the word here. We're going to go space and say keyway. To add that, and we'll also double click on this one, and we're going to change this one also to 2 decimal places, and that would be that depth right there. And you can do the same, put a space and then put keyway on here. This is probably the easiest thing to do at this point. I'm a little surprised that there isn't an option of putting a leader in here the way we want to. It's called a leader. And I'll have to kind of figure that one out. I thought it would be easy, and it should look just like this. This is a leader, but you want to be able to just point to something as it is in this drawing right here. You want to be able to just use this leader right here that tells you this leads you the way all the way back here to the keyway dimension. So the dimension we put on is fine, and for now I got to learn how to do that new part. So then that last thing we're going to do is come down here, double click on the thing here, tell us what the part number or part name is, and it is a step cone pulley, and the part number is right here, and that is a 198-6-16, and got that one right there. So we got our part, and that's kind of it. All right, I know that was kind of long, but this is the right way to do it, and this helps you get to the result you want to get to. All right,